Welcome back to our front. My name is Raymond Akwa. It's a security situation in the country. That's the topic for our discussion today. And then we took you to Tema, where the most recent incident, armed robbery, is what happened in the case of a soap-making factory, which actually got this one of officers who were supposed to pay the others with the money from the bank being robbed and killed. And this particular incident, we understand, happened earlier this morning. This happened, and the perspective matter. This happened just a couple of hours after the Interior Minister had assured the entire nation that the security agencies are fully in control of the situation and that nothing will go wrong from then. So this is why we are having a conversation, especially as the minority is demanding that the military be deployed on the ground to take over the situation and manage it better. We have in the studios the Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee, Honorable Consul. I was having a conversation with you first and foremost about exactly what you think about this call for the military to be deployed. You say that the military are already on the ground as we speak. Sure. Do we know where exactly they are today?
They are everywhere. Of course, and per the constitutional provision, even though the military is in charge of external security, whilst Interior is there to provide with the internal security, they collaborate, they coordinate. So, you know, security is partnership. And I don't want to believe that suggestion coming from the minority is something new. No, they're already on the ground working, collaborating with other intelligence agencies.
So is it that the ranking member on the committee that you are vice chair was not aware that the military is on the ground?
Maybe my ranking member is not in the known.
Is it supposed to be briefed?
Well,
are you as a committee already briefed?
Sure.
Yeah. So why would you think that he'll go out to make such a suggestion?
Well, I don't want to believe it's an act of, mischief, but he also has his own political leanings. And for me, this is not new.
But this is a very serious security matter. Why would the former Deputy Interior Minister play party politics with such an issue?
Well, that has become the order of the day because even though we need not to politicize security matters in this country, unfortunately, we have an opposition party and also minority group in parliament who are fond of, doing that. So I'm sure we are striving for excellence in terms of giving our people the maximum security. And that is the cardinal goal as government, to achieve public safety. That is what we are doing.
But the evidence on the ground also suggests that that's what's happening from yesterday to today. And many who are worried that this is a trend. For example, for the people in OEB who in the last 1.5 months have actually seen, almost 2 months actually, have actually seen specifically 24 different robbery cases in a single area, not the entirety of Accra, they have every reason to be worried.
Well, Ray, but you and I know that the fact that 1 or 2 incidents have happened cannot be used as a yardstick to imply that
24
we are in a state
weeks.
Of insecurity.
24 in 8 weeks.
Well, but the statistics also suggest otherwise in terms of crime that is on ascendancy. Because if you make some comparison, clearly you could see that even though there has been a lot of reporting cases as far as crime is concerned, notwithstanding the reports that was presented by the National Security, Ministry of Interior, and also Ministry of Defense suggested that crime in general has been reduced compared to that of the previous.
Which period are you looking at in this case?
I'm looking at 2016 baseline to that of 2017.
Okay, so what I have seen from the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center is that robbery in Accra for the period of January 2017 compared to January 2018. It was 51 robbery cases in January 2017, and now we have 89 of them. That's not a decrease.
Well, but the year is too young to conclude. We
have barely only 2 months, actually. We have just 2 months in the year.
Yes. But the statistics available is what you cannot argue with figures.
That's what I'm saying, that this is also the figures I've actually been privy to. And if you want to go back as far as I've seen it, in fact...
But we are talking about the annual estimate. And clearly, if you make comparison.
Okay, so let me just get the figures from you. What was the final robbery case number for Accra in 2016?
You want to deal with specific?
Yes.
Well, generally, the report that was presented was in one category, as in crime in general. That the
not
crime,
necessarily robbery, because that's what we are dealing with particularly. Because crime is way too broad.
Exactly.
It includes all the other elements involved.
That was the statistics. So I don't know where you're coming from, but the fact of the matter is that we have witnessed, high-profile robberies in this country, of which I don't want to rationalize the act.
I get you, but
yes,
I've not seen you state categorically the figures that suggest that in 2016 there were more robberies
like
we have in 2017.
2016.
Yes.
2016.
Yes.
Crime in general, in terms of numbers,
since
reported cases.
The crimes are just way too broad, which includes other forms that may not be what the focus is. What people are worried about currently is the spate of robbery cases that are on the increase, and they are worried. In fact, from OEB through to Fafraha, there are communities who are specifically quoting that for the last month or so, they've been under intense pressure from this grouping. This is not generalized crime situation, is it?
Yes, I agree with you. But
yes,
to narrow it to robbery, I'm sure what we witnessed about 2 years ago cannot be compared to what we are witnessing now. And Ray, you know that. You know that even Kumasi alone, within 2 months, police embarked on soup operation, and they arrested over 200 armed robbers.
Okay.
Kumasi Metropolis alone.
Interesting.
And that was in 2015, 2016, if you do the analysis. So clearly, I'm not sure what we are witnessing now is something that is over us. No, it's possible we'll be able to arrest the situation.
Okay, but do you get the sense that we are in control of the situation?
Yes, we are.
Because the Interior Minister said it was under control, and barely 2 hours after he had made that statement, the big incident happened in Tema.
The point is, we need to commend the media, and I'm sure now you are more key about reporting such incidents as compared to the previous or past years. And I'm sure the commendation must go to the media, that they are so keen about making sure that they report on social matters, which include, crime. So it's rather the media that is creating that public awareness. Meanwhile, some people have suffered in the past without even being known as far as the public is concerned. So I think I'll commend the media for bringing such matters to the public knowledge.
But you reject the claim that it's on the rise, right?
Yes,
robbery specifically.
Yes. I reject that claim.
Okay, so what is being done to arrest the situation? You in Parliament, what have you been told is happening on the ground to arrest the situation?
Well, I know police service, like any institutions, have some challenges. And we can talk about lack of logistical support, talking about manpower, as in police population ratio. If you look at the UN requirement or recommendation that every one police officer, that is police civilian ratio, 1:500, of which if you look at 2015, 2016, that when you put one police officer to 875 civilians, which is far below the standard by the UN. So we're working on it to make some increment as far as the manpower is concerned. And I'm sure if you look at the 2018 budget statement, the government is committed to recruit more than 4,000 personnel into the service.
No, but that's in the long term. I mean, it's for the entire budget year. I'm not sure even deployment or what they call it, allocation has been made now.
The recruitment.
Yes, yeah. my difficulty right now is what is being done in the short term, immediately. There's one of the solutions that your colleague gave about deploying military men on the ground, which you say is already happening. What else is happening to assure Ghanaians from where you sit in Parliament, have you been told that there are concrete steps to assure people that this is not going to get out of hand?
The assurance is that the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo,
who is out of the country.
Yes, and I'm sure he will return, possibly tomorrow, and has also made some commitment as far as the allocation to the security sector is concerned, which is also in line with Article 200 Clause 3 of our Constitution, that we need to equip Ghana Police Service. And I'm sure we are voting, or we voted a colossal amount of 800 million cedis within the 6 months to retool the whole services. Okay. And I'm sure it will go a long way to boost the morale of the personnel. Also,
we'll talk about what this man is going to be used for, and I'll plead with you to speak up a little bit louder for me. I'm told that we still have some slight challenge with the microphone, but I mean, you were making specifically what is going to be done later on in the course of the year. I have a question specifically related to what is happening now. Your colleague James Agaga demands that you call in the security chiefs, or the president address the nation, specifically assure us that this is a situation under control. Is this something that you support?
Yes, yes. Ghana is not a failed state. And Ray, about 2 months ago, our committee, our Noble Committee, received a delegation from South Africa, to be specific, KwaZulu-Natal province. And their mission was very simple, that they are in this country to learn from our best practices in terms of combating crime. So Ghana cannot be described as a failed state. I'm sure research has shown that crime keeps on changing in terms of qualitative and quantitative terms. And we, as people, and also the police service and other, intelligence agency, must be more sophisticated in terms of combating such menace. So we need to devise, new strategies of fighting crime in this country. And this suggestion will come from all angles, because we can only combat crime through a collective effort, not only on the part of the government, but we, the citizens, also have an active role to play, including the media.
Okay, that's interesting. I asked a question directly related to the proposal that, first and foremost, there should be an immediate briefing of Parliament from the Interior Ministry of what's supposed to be happening. Do we know when this is going to happen? Are you likely to summon the minister?
Today they were in Parliament.
But not to brief you on this incident. Yesterday's incident, they were not there to do so.
No, but we are also on the ground. Of course, we heard the news, and as a committee, tomorrow we are convening a meeting to, as it were, look into the matter, and also make some proposal to these challenges.
So would it include having to haul in or summon the minister to come and give you some assurance?
Today the minister was on the floor answering to some parliamentary questions that were posed by some minority members.
But did he include these robbery cases?
Of course, there were other supplementary questions that was in relation to robbery cases in this country.
Okay, so did he answer to your satisfaction? Did he tell you exactly what was going to happen to deal with the problem?
Sure, the assurance was great. We cannot sit here, and you and I know that even if you look at the regional bloc, talking about Africa in general, we face issue of cross-border crime, piracy, violent extremism, human trafficking, and other threats which for me we need to combat it. No country is immune to threats.
Certainly.
But you and I know that we are making some commitment to make sure that Ghana overcome such evil in our society.
After the assurance of the minister, as you say, was given in Parliament today, another major incident has happened. Is this something that's going to let you know that perhaps the assurance is not reflecting in the action on the ground?
Well, Ray, what you are saying call for suggestions.
Okay.
And also bringing out ideas that will go a long way to arrest the situation.
Okay.
And for me, we need to share intelligence.
It doesn't sound to me like you think the minister should come back and give you assurances.
No. What assurance do we need again?
Okay. So you are going to summon the minister?
This is not the first time you are summoning the minister.
Yes. I'm just asking whether you are plans or summoning him in connection with these two robberies back to back.
We even summoned the IGP during the Christmas festivity.
I get you, but that's happened in times past. No, I'm asking specifically going forward after these incidents happening.
Even last month, you know, we are in constant engagement with
the ranking member insists that should be the case. Would you do so?
Well, I don't know. Maybe as usual, he's playing politics. But to the best of my knowledge, we are working closely with all the security heads in this country.
You don't think there's a need to call back the minister to Parliament?
If the need arises, but mind you, the man was in the house today.
Honorable, would you be willing to call back the minister to Parliament again, mindful of what's happening today?
Well, that is not out of order.
Would you support any call like that?
The man is with us.
I'm saying that ordinarily, you have had your ranking member say that he needs to come back to come and deal with the matter.
No, my point is, he himself knows that the man has always been with us. So why this allusion to the fact that we need to summon the minister in charge of interior? Or
he says that it looks like the security agencies do not have a grip on the situation.
That's your perception.
No, I'm talking about your ranking member. He says that from where he sits, it doesn't look like they understand what is really happening.
Well, that is his opinion or observation. But
what do you think about that?
I think police are on top, except that they need to up their games, of course.
So how can you be on top when you've not upped your game?
No, they have the capacity.
Yes, they have the capacity. Done what shows that they can actually deal with the situation?
There's more to that. There's more to that. I'm a lawmaker, and I think we need to review some of our existing laws. You know, you and I know that if a policeman is on duty, sometimes they are reluctant in terms of even defending themselves. For me, this has also given some level of freedom to these criminals, that they are abusing the system. Abusing the system in such that they can rather shoot, they can kill, thinking that the court system is there to go through the process. Which for me, if police are being given the green light to defend themselves, to shoot and kill, which is also not going to augur well as far as even the democracy is concerned.
So you think that they should be given more powers to shoot and kill?
That's not my suggestion, but what I'm saying is, this is also making the criminals feel that police are reluctant. I mean, they always try to restrain.
Is that the main problem? Is that the main problem?
No, maybe it's a psychological problem.
Okay. So you think that the spate is because the robbers have been emboldened and there's a lot of impunity in the system?
I think they are taking their leniency to be their weakness.
But the police is generally weak. We saw what happened at Kwebenya. We saw that they've not been able to fight the crimes required in various areas.
No, that's a flat statement. That's a flat statement. How can you say generally they are
weak? Yes, we've seen
weak
what they have done.
Because they failed to kill somebody.
They failed to arrest people in so many cases that have been listed in times past. In fact, the police has a list of cold cases that they are struggling to deal with for a very, very long time.
Sometimes we ought to be fair to ourselves.
Yes.
We are with the criminals. We live with them. Some are hardened criminals in respective communities.
Yeah.
And unless police pick intel, and who are supposed to, furnish them with all these critical information? You and I. And if we are not doing that, must we blame them? So sometimes, partly, we ought to be blamed too.
Okay, so okay, so the other proposal from the ranking member is an assurance from the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Is he going to do so anytime soon?
Sure.
You support that? that the president should assure the rest of us in this
republic? No, the president
safe.
During his State of the Nation's address assured us, and of course,
the evidence on the ground suggests that that assurance was more in words than action.
Because 1 or 2 robberies incidents have happened, and therefore you want to conclude.
24 has happened in OEB, one single town,
but
within a matter of 2 months.
I'm not interested in this politics of equalization.
But I'm not talking about equalization. No, I'm saying that there are lives involved.
Are you suggesting that this is the first time? No, Ray, are you suggesting that this is the first time we are witnessing robbery incidents in this country?
Regardless,
we are witnessing killing in this country.
Regardless, I'm saying that currently people who live in OEB are worried about the state of security there.
Not only them, all of us are making sure that we strive for excellence in terms of maximizing the welfare of our people.
We've gotten the assurance consistently that we are safe, which does not match the reality on the ground.
Are you not safe?
I'm worried, genuinely worried.
Everyone is worried. Everyone is worried because they are our relatives, they are our friends, they are family members. So if anything happens, definitely you'll be worried.
So would you
that doesn't mean that.
Would you oppose the call that the commander-in-chief of the armed forces should be out there assuring the people that this is what I'm doing to make you safe? We know that the social contracts the governed are actually signed with the governors are pretty simple. Security is number 1 on that particular list.
Sure.
And that it cannot be in any case that every other thing is taking care of the economy, other social matters, and security is left adjourned, right? So would an assurance not be very much an important thing to do at this point?
No, I want to ask you a question. Are we not safe as people?
Are we?
We are. Yes, really? We are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
People are being robbed in the broad daylight.
Oh my God!
It's not happening in the night under the cover of darkness. It is happening day back to back. From yesterday to today, even after assurances from the police that they are on the ground and they are in charge of institutions.
I think we must be measured in terms of exaggerating matters.
How is it exaggerated? Didn't it happen yesterday?
It happened.
Didn't it happen today?
So must we conclude that we are not safe and Ghana is a failed state?
No, nobody's talking about failed state.
Nobody's
going to the level of failed state.
No, but that is what
I've not even heard the minority say failed state.
That is the impression that they are creating.
No,
they are creating. I mean, a gloomy picture, as if Ghana is in the state of insecurity, but that is not the case.
I get your point. What I also want to find out from you is, would it be out of place, as the suggestion is from the minority, that please let the president assure the people? Would it be out of place?
How many assurances are they expecting from His Excellency the President?
There hasn't been one after these robberies, has there been?
Oh, of course, during the State of the Nation's address.
No, but this was proud to the recent happenings anyway.
Oh, Ray, why are you doing this? You know, we have not lost confidence in His Excellency as the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana.
But is this really to do with confidence? It's to do with assurance. And is that demand really outrageous?
Assurance must be backed by confidence, and you and I know.
Yeah.
You see, the point is, the security services are coordinating and they are working. They are working. Nobody can tell me that police institution is not working. They are working. And of course, they have come out to say that these are some of the challenges they are going through. And this is a listening government, that the government is so committed to provide us with security. And therefore...
When will the 800 million be released?
No, within 6 months, and I'm sure...
We are in the second month. It's ended. We are going to the 3rd month. Is it for 3 months more? Or
I'm sure the ministry is working with the Ministry for Finance. So, there are certain information...
Do we know when the money will be released? You in Parliament that approved this amount of money, do you know when it's going to be released?
I don't want to believe the police as an institution has come out that after the pledge by the president, nothing has been released to them. Are you privy to such information?
Has there already been releases from this 800 million?
Are you privy to that information?
I am not. That's why I'm asking you.
And they are not complaining either. So why don't you wait?
I'll come back to you, Honorable. My guest in studio, we're talking about the state of security in the country, is the Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, the Honorable Collins Osamankwa, is in here. I'm giving to understand on the phone line now is Deputy Defense Minister and Major Derek Oduro. Major Derek Oduro retired. You're welcome, sir. If you can hear me, Major Dekojo, you are welcome. Well, I'm sure if I'm able to get him on the phone lines, we'll get back to speak to him on this particular incident. But I understood you're supposed to give us some more appreciation of the issue on the ground and what's being done to assure people that their safety is paramount under these circumstances. But we continue our conversation with the Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. You did tell me that there will be a meeting tomorrow. Yes. And that meeting, among other things, would determine what?
Will be centered on issues that border on crime in general.
Would you decide on whether or not you need the minister back in Parliament?
Well, maybe it will be determined.
Okay, at the committee meeting. So what's going to be the plan? You're going to discuss solutions, or you're going to discuss what is currently the situation?
Well, you wait. After the meeting, I will not hesitate to, as it were, furnish you with what transpires. So you wait.
Is it an emergency meeting?
Well, you can describe it so.
Okay, but one other thing I want to know from you, I mean, as in Parliament, is there general concern among the MPs about the current situation?
Come again?
At least for your committee, are you generally concerned about the current situation?
Yes, we are. And not only us. Parliament in general. Of course, all of us. We must be more concerned about our security. Well, I'm also surprised that Ray, we live in a country where people negotiate with their salaries and wages, but they don't negotiate with their security. And
that's interesting.
I'm sure security is very expensive. You know, it's very expensive.
That's very true.
Yes. So a lot of commitment must be injected to make sure that we provide our people.
Okay. Permit me to go back to the phone lines, and I'm given to understand that Major Derek Ojo is on the phone lines now. Major Derek Ojo retired as Deputy Defense Minister. Major, you're welcome to, well, can I hear? Major, if you can hear me, you're welcome. Well, I seem to have lost him once again. If you're able to fix the phone lines, you should be able to get him out and get some updates from him on this particular situation. You were talking to me about what the 800 million was supposed to be used for.
Yeah, for retooling.
Retooling. So you are going to buy them specifically what? More cars?
More cars, I mean...
Bulletproof vests?
Of course, of course.
Do you know how many cars you are going to buy?
Well, the government has already come out that we are deploying over 1,000 vehicles to Ghana Police Service.
Oh, 1,000?
Yes, 1,000.
Do we know whether the 200 that are supposed to have been bought from the service on the bulletproof...
No, that one is 100.
That's 100, right?
Yes, 100.
Oh, have they already been bought?
Sure.
Have they been given to the police service?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Which service units are now using them?
Well, you can keep in touch with them because when it comes to the
all right, so
distribution and the arrangements...
I'll come back to you, but let me go to the phone lines. I'm told that the Honorable Major Dekojo is back on the line. Maybe we have him more stable now. Honorable, you're welcome to UPfront.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I hope you're doing well this evening.
Yeah, I'm doing very, very well.
It's not been a very nice day. Yesterday and today have been pretty gloomy. 2 Ghanaians lost their lives in attacks that have shocked the nation. Broad daylight robberies. Do we know exactly how the security setup in this country is responding to this matter?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think anything at all that happens is met with adequate preparation and ways to tackle the issue. Now, we are all witnesses to what happened yesterday and the day before yesterday. And there are things that security agencies never expected that issue or that situation to come up. But when they happen, the way they respond to it, the way they will react to the situation determines the level of efficiency that the security agencies have. Now, the situation used not to be okay at all. The way police or military or any security institution will react to certain call, distress call, would be determined by the equipment, the logistics that they have. Police used not to have vehicles, used not to have even weapons, ammunition to combat crime. Of late, these days, we have, to some extent, armed them, provided necessary logistics for them to combat crime. That is why police can immediately react to certain situations when there is any for them to come and act.
Okay, Major Director Joe, I want specifics now. Tell me how many cars have been provided for the police. I mean, in terms of weapons, what's the stock now, and which other armory are you making reference to?
Yes. If we have not supplied weapons to them, I wouldn't have mentioned it because of the security situation on the mentioning of weapons. But now that I'm confident that they have been given weapons, adequate weapons to deal with certain situations, that's why I've mentioned weapons. But the other ones, I can mention it. I wouldn't go into details about the number of weapons and that kind of thing.
I get your point. So you are making reference to cars, for example. How many do they have in additional stock now?
If you recall, Operation Calm Life, that we all know used to be existing so many years ago, went so down that the operation was not going on. When this government came, the president has relaunched the Operation Calm Life, and that is there to combat armed robbery.
Honorable, I get you. There's an operation in place.
200 pickups, over 300 motorbikes, weapons, ammunition, and what have you. That is why these days, when somebody goes to commit such offense, then the people are apprehended, put before court, and tried, which used not to be done. Go to so many areas where people were killed. It wasn't easy for the people to arrest them. In Guantanamo, DCE was killed. So many people have been killed. But to apprehend these criminals was very difficult. These days, you joke, they will arrest you. That is the improvement that we've had in the security sector.
Okay.
And a lot more. Look at the number of people that we are employing.
Okay.
The police are recruiting, armed forces recruiting, fire service, what have you. And even immigration, they are all recruiting. Security agencies are recruiting to augment the lower strength that they have.
Okay.
These are all improvements in the security sector.
Major Director Joe,
assured that the government is up and doing to solve the numerous problems of the security agencies for them to combat crime in the country.
Major Director Joe, the suggestion from the minority is that let the military men be on the ground and be the ones taking charge of the situation. Is this a suggestion that you in the defense ministry would actually support and immediately release the men in uniform in this case?
My brother, they are on the ground. They are on ground supporting the police. Maybe the person who said it is not abreast with so many things happening in the country. That is what we call internal security operations. The police are embarking on that. The armed forces is assisting the police to combat crime. That is why we said we have relaunched Operation Calm Life. And that consists of the military and the police.
When was this operation relaunched?
Doesn't know what is happening.
Honorable, when was the operation relaunched?
Oh, about a couple of weeks ago.
And yet, these major incidents are happening.
I believe you are very, very comfortable sitting, and then the cameramen are facing you.
Yeah.
You have not been attacked in your studio. That is an improvement. Otherwise, as for crime, it will never, and even other big countries, they have such situations. They have even worse situations than what we have in Ghana. But because when you move left, the criminals are moving right. It is incumbent upon all the population to provide information. The information will be processed into intelligence for the security agencies to work with. So if the information is not coming forth with, then security agencies are handicapped. Let's all help put our shoulders to the wheel, and we'll arrive at the destination where we want to go. So the security agencies are now up and doing because they have been provided with some of the logistics that they need. They are augmenting the strength so that they can work effectively. This is where we have reached. And we are paused on continuing to get to where we want to get to.
Before I let you go, there's this question about the updates on the current situation. If you are aware, have there been any suspects picked up in connection with the killing of the Lebanese man in Tema, which happened earlier this morning?
Maybe the Interior Ministry will be able to answer this question adequately. Can you hear me?
Well, I lost you on the line, but I thought...
I'm saying that
okay.
That is in the domain of the Interior Ministry.
Very well.
They will be able to tell you. Other situation when we make certain arrests, we don't announce them because of the security situation, because of the operational situation, because of whatever they think that if you maybe make pronouncement on them, it will jeopardize the operation. So let's grab that information from Ministry of Interior, and they will be able to tell you if they want to tell you.
Okay, my final question to you in this case is those who feel, for example, who live in Oyibi, who know that within the last 2 months there have been 24 different robbery cases in that area, just opposing against what has been done currently with all of the retooling and the provision of the resources that you just talked about. Dr. Kwesienim believes that there's a need for you to change the strategy when it comes to dealing with robbery and other related crime cases. Is this something that the security setup in the country is considering?
Yes, very, very well. If you don't change your strategy when you know that the one you are using is not helping, why don't you? You have to change your strategy. Practice has so many variations. So if you move left and then the criminals move right, you also have to do something to conform, to get them. You must be ahead of them so that you can combat them. So security agencies are up and doing and are ready and willing to combat the crime. So all those who are suffering from the activities of armed robbery should rest assured that the security agencies are up and then they will combat them and they will have their freedom.
Honorable, I want to thank you so much for joining us on this one, and we should be speaking more on what's been happening on the ground. But thank you so much. You heard there the very Deputy Defense Minister in the person of Major Derek Ojo, retired, and of course, we were showing some visuals about what happened at Tema earlier today. There were some very bad scenes in those visuals. My apologies. We sure should be able to rectify that. But coming back in studios here, the Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee, Collins Owusu, Honorable, is with us here. Honorable, the conclusion I want to hear from you is whether or not going into the future, you would expect that some immediate, short and long-term plans are put in place. And you also expect that there's a change in the strategy we're dealing with crime in this country.
Sure, and let me commend Major Derek Ojo. I think he has done justice to some issues raised here. And going forward, I would propose that the current police administration must deepen a police patrol, visibility and also accessibility concept by introducing, 24-hour shift system would also help to some extent. And we also need to increase road safety and traffic management in this country. Fighting or combating crime is not a joke. It must be called for a concerted effort. Now, I'm sure that all the security agencies must also join hands with the police service, which is the main law enforcement agency in this country.
Well, Honorable, I want to thank you so much. But before we actually conclude in the conversation here, is the committee actually visiting any of these robbery sites?
Yes.
When is that going to happen?
I'm sure it will be determined tomorrow after the meeting.
Okay, we shall be following up on that. There's also an outstanding issue. There are those who are actually querying what's happening with these Ghanaians who are supposed to be police officers who are the problem. Someone on UN missions, and they virtually, we are told, embarrass the nation through the process. The police administration says they are investigating. What's the committee doing in connection with this?
Ray, so let's wait. The matter is under investigation.
You are not dealing with it too?
I don't want to make any prejudicial.
But has it come to your attention as a committee?
Of course, and I understand a 3-member committee have been sent to UN to, as it were, ascertain the veracity of the whole issue. We pray that such allegation couldn't be true, because it dents the image of this country, which is not proper.
Okay. Well, I guess we can actually end our conversation here. My guest today has been the Vice Chair of the Communications does it call? Defense and Interior Committee of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, the Honorable Collins Osamankwa. We should do this conversation consistently so that we know what's happening with our security in the country. Thank you so much for coming in.
Great, I'm at your service.
Thank you. I appreciate your coming into the studio. Well, folks, that's where we tie the nice ribbons on today's edition of Upfront. My name is Raymond Akwa, and we thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Upfront. My name is Raymond Akwa. Tonight, another deadly daylight armed robbery that left a Lebanese businessman shot in the head just hours after Interior Minister declared the armed robbery situation in the capital is under control. We tell you why the minority in Parliament is demanding the immediate deployment of the military onto the streets to battle the armed gangs and interrogate their demands with the majority in our studios here after this break. You're welcome back. This is Upfront. My name is Raymond Akwa. My guest today is the Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament. Critical committee, especially because of what we know is happening now. And we know that this is another day in the capital and another bloody armed robbery attack. Again, very daring, in broad daylight. This time, it left a Lebanese businessman shot in the head who died before arriving at the hospital. We know that yesterday it was here at the industrial area. Today it's in Tema, and so unfolded just hours after the Interior Minister and Busderi declared that the armed robbery crisis is under control. In fact, there are now strong calls from the minority in Parliament for the President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, to immediately deploy the military onto the streets to deal with what they consider to be growing insecurity and security crisis in the capital. More on all of that shortly, but first, let's get fresh details from this afternoon's deadly armed robbery attack in Tema. We understand the attackers may have made away with an estimated 200,000 cedis they took from the Lebanese victim, who is a senior manager at the Tema-based soap-making factory, Delta Agro. I'm sure we come to the people on the ground, but I have my colleague, Ernest Menu, on the ground, who's speaking to us briefly on this one. Ernest, if you can hear me, exactly what do we know about this particular incident and how it happened?
All right, Raymond, so this happened at 10 a.m. this morning and not in the afternoon. It happened at 10 a.m. this morning. The deceased, only identified as Alhaji Ahmed, left the company, Delta Agro, to Zenith Bank, which is just about 3 minutes drive away from the company, to withdraw some money. We are told that this money was meant for the salaries of the workers because a lot of them are paid at the table and not through the bank. And so he had gone to withdraw the money to pay these workers. And indeed, I engaged a lot of them. They tell me they're expecting to have their salary today. Now, just at the junction to the company, which is just about a minute's drive away, he was engaged by somebody who subsequently was identified as one of the attackers, the syndicate. And before he knew it, a car had drove past him quickly and blocked him. And all of this is happening just a minute's drive away from the company. They blocked him. They asked him to step out of the car. He resisted. They shot into the car, destroyed some parts of it, and forced him out. And then they transferred the bags of money into the other vehicle which they were using, and they drove off. Now, they did not shoot at this man, who we understand is 54, Alhaji Ahmed. It did not shoot at him. However, he attempted chasing them, tracking them down to retrieve the money and blowing the alarm to get others help him arrest these guys. And it was in the attempt that the robbers turned and shot from behind. They shot twice. It affected his head, and we are told that he was declared dead when they arrived at the hospital, which is the Rafa Hospital in Tema. And so this is what happened, Raymond.
Do we know that really we did put out there some 200,000 was involved? Is it the case? And is it also true that this was money meant to pay the salaries of workers he actually engaged?
So yes, this is money meant to pay the salary of the workers. We got that confirmation from the police. However, we cannot tell the amount of money involved. The police did not confirm that to us, but 200,000 is what we know. 200,000 is what we know.
So what else is the police telling us now? Are they chasing the people? Do they have clues? Can we even surmise who these people are?
So they tell us investigations have started. They have spoken with eyewitnesses whose accounts they believe will help them track down these attackers. However, they have moved on to advise such companies. And this advice, Raymond, sort of gives credence to the suspicion that this might have happened because of an insider information or based on a tip-off. And I posed that question to him. He says they're not ruling that out. So the advising companies who engage in such huge transactions or whenever they are going in for such, withdrawals to seek police protection. And this man, we understand, is something he does on a daily basis, be it salaries or any other money that the company would need to transact business. He just drives from the company straight to Zenith and back. And so it is a daily routine, and the police are asking that if you're involved in that kind of activity or any other company on any other day, to seek police protection because they are not ruling out the suspicion that this might have happened based on a tip-off.
It's been over 8 hours. Do we know whether the police have actually arrested anybody? They have picked links to anybody that they want to pursue now?
Arrest, they have not made any arrest. I put that question to the PRO for the Tema region. He says they've not made any arrest. However, they have links and they believe that sooner than later they are going to track them down. Indeed, by the time we left the crime scene to the police station, the car was still there. We did not see, men, police officers. They're trying to, cordon off the place. We had people just moving in and out, and they kept us wondering if they had gathered enough evidence. Well, CID, I beg your pardon, ASP Benefo Dakwa insists that his men are on the
Exactly, what is the feeling among the people in this area? Are they worried, mindful of what has happened in Accra just yesterday and what's following up today in Tema? What do you get the sense of reaction from the people there?
Absolutely. The workers are very much worried and they are shocked, especially when you look at the proximity, because we're just talking about a minute's drive, and this is just at the junction of this company, Agro Delta, and they are shocked that this could happen so close to them. There was an attack also yesterday. We understand at Community 17. The police couldn't arrest anybody, even though they met the attackers. They claimed that they had some civilians, around, and they couldn't risk firing to kill or hurt anyone. An explanation they do not find acceptable. So they are indeed worried about the turn of events. However, my colleague Jacqueline Quay, who was there earlier, said he overheard some of them say, well, in as much as they are worried about this particular incident, the company do not pay them well. They are not paid well. And so even though they've lost their money, they are not worried. They're only sad that they've lost their senior colleague, Alhaji Ahmed, who we understand has been with the company for 16 years.
Yes, many thanks to you for giving us the update from there. And this is live from Tema, and Ernest has been there with another colleague of ours. Live updates of what's been happening there. We know that another daylight armed robbery has left a Lebanese businessman shot in the head, who just died in the hospital, even before he got to the hospital, and is giving us a briefing as to what really happened there. In the studios here, I did tell you earlier on, ladies and gentlemen, my guest is the Vice Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, Collins Osomanko. You're welcome to UPfront.
Thank you.
Pretty sad event, especially coming just a day after one other happened.
Well, Ray, before I'll begin with my rendition, let me seize this opportunity to, as it were, express my deepest sympathies to the bereaved family. I think it's a great loss, and may God continue to protect us. It's very pathetic. I must say, it's very pathetic. What do you do? It's one of the challenges we face as people. And I'm sure security in general cannot be described as Ghana is a failed state. No. I'm of the considered view that even though we are confronted with these challenges, notwithstanding, we are making a frantic effort to ensure that we enhance public safety as well as enhancing security delivery in this country.
Okay, we'll be talking more about exactly what's being done. But first and foremost, I mean, happening yesterday and another one following up today, what is happening in Parliament is your colleague on the other side saying that we need the military out there immediately to ensure there is proper law and order. Actually, he believes that the police cannot put the situation under control. Is this something you agree with?
Well, but that is a minority for you, and always want to capitalize on any opportune platform to, as it were, make some hypocritical and pretentious statements like what we are witnessing.
Okay, so what's hypocritical about it?
Of course, we told them that the security agencies are not coordinating. I'm sure Ghana Armed Forces are working closely with Ministry of Interior through Ghana Police Service. So we're from this suggesting that...
do you disagree?
As in what?
With the suggestion that military men should be put out there?
They are already in the system.
Are you saying that there's already a deployment that includes the military on the grounds as we speak?
Yes, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that police service is helpless. And as an institution, of course, they are working.
Yeah, no, but I want to be clear in my mind. Are you saying that as we speak, there are military men already being deployed together with the police on the grounds as we speak?
And what I want to put it out there is that they are already on the ground working.
Okay, so you will not disagree with they being the one in charge of this deployment or this exercise, would you?
Military has already been deployed. So for anybody to suggest that we need to get them on field to collaborate with police service, it's neither here nor there.
I'll get back to you, but I need to take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation on what looks like a very serious situation we have on our hands when it comes to the security of this country.